and welcome to Bits. Tonight we're looking squarely in the eye of life-affirming sports sims.
Cricket 2000
and Grand Prix 3. And we'll be taking a peek through our fingers at the death-fixated
Zombie Revenge.
And what's that?
Oh, it's the devil inside!
Have you ever wanted to be on television, wanted to be famous, wanted to be a star? Well, come on down to WWWLA Studios, where they're holding auditions for the top position on their #1 show, The Devil Inside.
The brainchild of the sick and twisted Hubert Chardot, creator of the Alone in the Dark series and all-around funny-looking dude. Devil Inside is a black parody of the American traditions of mutilation, guns, and the ever-present boob tube. Where would we be without it?
Who can resist taking the mick out of U.S. TV? Jerry Springer, cops, America's Most Wanted, all rightful targets for a cynical mind. But you should see what we really have on those cable channels. Terrors beyond the imagination.
Devil Inside would sit nicely in a slot on the Game Show Network. Once a month on WWWLA, David Cooper, ex-LAPD and not very mild-mannered cop, heads into the depths of depravity and weeds out the living from the dead. Tonight, it's Citizen Kane meets Halloween as Davy Boy sets his automatic rifle on Shadowgate, the cursed home of the renowned serial killer, the Night Howler.
To keep the bosses interested and to keep the show on air, you've got to do lots of impressive things, like blow holes in body parts and get into the fray. You could wander around aimlessly for hours if you wanted, but you'll probably get just as bored as your virtual viewers. It's not an experiment that really needs to be replicated, sweetie.
It's a combination of the Resident Evils, Duke Nukem, and Silent Hill, but with better camera angles, plot, and consistency. Its closest brethren is last year's epic Shadow Man. If I didn't know any better, I'd think old Hubert had been doing a mite of MI5 work over at Acclaim Studios. The first few areas aren't too creepy, letting you get used to the persistent cut-ins from the studio and the extra babysitting work that needs to be done to keep the zombies away from the camera. However, just when I was about to get jiggy with the dead dudes on my PC, the action ground to a halt for 3 perilous seconds, instantly alerting me to more bodies on screen. No suspense here, I just pulled out my piece and started firing when the game revved itself up again. Subsequently, more bad guys come out, and you do find yourself overwhelmed enough to die.
The mansion isn't exactly a house, it's more of a leisure complex. It's got a gym, a sauna, a movie theater, pool tables, even a pool. Hey, you know, if it wasn't for those pesky undead and that darn gateway to hell, they'd be raking in the dough. Granted, most of them aren't projection wielders like Granny and her gun or the torturer's axe. So, with a swifty sidestep, you could be playing chase with the brain munchers. Keeps you fit, like Diva.
She looks like the chick from Aorta Flux and gets off on pyros. She is a twisted fire starter. Once you get to the haunted mansion, you'll want to battle the undead using her voluptuous frame, because she can wallow in their perishing flames and up her life ante. Dave, on the other hand, needs a med kit. Boring.
If you can handle the long hours, the tabloid press, and the evil undead asking for your autograph, then get into this extremely clever piece of television history from the 26th of May. Get out of here! Ugh!
Worry not all motor racing fans of Formula One, because Murray Walker, I am not! Here are the facts, hard and fast for the latest big-time licensed racing game. It's Grand Prix 3. As you speed through this death wish of a racing sim, you can take the identity of your actual Formula One racers and their cars, driving like highly qualified loons on the real circuits, where you get to see the idyllic, peaceful tax haven of Monaco at 200 miles per hour.
For me, that's just an average Friday night.
The detail is phenomenal, giving you, the boy-girl racer, everything you'll need to be the biggest speed freak on your block. Data logging includes all the boffiny engineering facts the pit crew have. Speed, steering demand, revs per minute, throttle, ride height, suspension travel and wheel spin. My mind boggles, but hey, Details are of the essence with these streamlined, physics-defying machines. But what about the actual ride? Speed! 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 Oh my God, they're touching wheels! It's a 360-degree spin! Fantastic! They think it's all over! Crash! Or you could go with the indestructible car. Now, I don't know about you, but that's just a red rag to a bull. Indestructible? That's just a challenge. A full face helmet is not included with the game, but may come as recommended. So belt up and burn rubber, with the real thing coming soon.
This next game won't take you into the world of the virtual hairdresser, but Tucky on the Fringe might restyle your barnet along the way. Set in a future when space travel has been made easy by way of the teleporting tachyon jump gates, you can travel huge distances in a flash through what resembles the old Bill and Ted time tunnel. The Fringe in the title is in fact the rough edges of outer space, where the inhabitants still brawl amongst each other.
It is the 26th century. Peace prevails in the Earth's solar system. Tachyon gates allow us to travel tremendous distances in mere seconds. This is the golden age of space exploration.
You have to learn to control your ship through 3 basic training levels and then post your booty on the board to collect the bounty. Missions get progressively harder, but you do earn more cash, which you can spend on souping up your craft or buying a new one if the decidedly asymmetric Orion doesn't grab you where it should. For the accountants among you, you'll want to offset this expenditure against the final dollar coming to you in the mission. Although graphically beautiful, this just didn't grab me to begin with. It's not made for novices, and you'll have to spend copious amounts of time getting used to your craft, shopping around for a new one, stocking it up with a suitable arsenal, and making friends with your potential wingman. There are masses of controls to get your head round, but once you do, you've got a pretty flat game going on, not least because of the multiplayer options. There's a fairly typical deathmatch option, best played over LAN when you can see the eyes of your opponents bleed as you blast them beyond the fringe and into the perm. But best of all are the online options, and this is where it gets really interesting. Logging on to developer NovaLogic's site will allow you to take part in one awesome galactic battle called Base Wars. You can join either side and team up for the gate-jumping 120-player marathon. Gorgeous, but only for the brave. Tacky on the Fringe is out for your PC on 19th of May. Nice.
Beware, coward.
What is the newest, the coolest, the most computer-friendly way to hoover funky tunes off the internet?
MP3. Get your grubby little hands on one of these digital beauties, and soon you will be humming as loudly and badly as if you were wearing a Walkman.
But what's the difference?
The main difference is that instead of changing cassettes, CDs, or even mini discs, you'll be changing, well, nothing, really.
Suck free music off the internet, or you can load it from a CD into your reusable memory card, and bing, soon you will be bebopping down the street like a funky Mr. Soft.
No moving parts.
1 AA battery.
It's so small.
First up is the Seihan MP-Man MP-F20, billed as the first MP3 player in your pocket. It has a 32 meg flash memory card and an additional 32 meg if you have a multimedia memory card. You can use the drag and drop software to download audio files, and it's shock-free, so you won't get any sound distortion whilst jogging or on a bouncy castle. Now remember that the smart media cards can be used for a number of different functions, including using them with cameras and palm tops.
£100.
And so small.
Jazz Piper, tread silver, but thankfully comes with a removable belt clip. It's also got a little microphone, so you can have up to 2 hours voice recording, and it has a telephone book added.
Why?
Bit of a gimmick if you ask me. Does your CD player have a date planner on it? I don't think so. Uses jet audio, and Slurp helps you load down music from your CD onto your MP3. LCD displays a lot more info, such as track title and artiste, and it weighs 4 grams heavier.
150 quid.
And so small.
The Diamond Rio 500. Well, it's see-through, so you know what you're letting yourself in for, and it comes with this handy pouch, so you can look trendy and hook it onto your pants. One battery lasts for 13 hours of music. The Rio stores up to 2 hours of music and 32 hours of spoken words. 64 megs of flash memory, plus an additional 32 megs with a smart media card.
£250.
And yeah, pretty small. Come back in part 2 for a bite at this.
Electronic Arts is coming apart at the seams. Divisions within EA are about to come to the fore as the company attempts to boost its public image. Now, this tactic of divide to rule means that 3 brands will be developed. First, EA Games. Second, EA Sports. Third, EA.com. But to me, it really sounds like a case of the Emperor's New Clothes. Splitters.
The intriguing coupling between Microsoft and Konami a while back looks like it will finally be producing some offspring. Matrimonial vows made between the two big companies swear that their baby, a new PC version of Metal Gear Solid, will feature new and improved graphics and some salacious new surprises. And recently, just off the press, Metal Gear Solid 2 will be sneaking its way onto the PlayStation 2.
This summer sees countries battling it out to become the first European Quake 3 Arena champions, complete with a cash prize.
To find out more, go to hosted.barryswell.com/leagues/BWQ31/Europe.
As we all know, zombies do not make good house guests. What with a full body eczema, it's slough central and you're left hoovering for weeks. It ain't hairs down the plug hole, but full body parts. And on the whole, your average zombie is a poor communicator. They're not emotionally accessible. They're difficult. They have issues. Thankfully, in Zombie Revenge, they're confined to the Dreamcast, not being the type you'd take home to mother. This is a sister arcade game to the top-popping House of the Dead. Rather than the point-and-shoot of the original, this is an action-adventure done in the style of Resident Evil, minus the puzzles, but most definitely plus the dreadful controls. You view your character from third person, and with the ability to beat and blast your way through trouble, you're expected to make it to the end and save the world from the leprous zombie virus. This time, though, you have a choice of 3 characters. Extra-fast blonde Lena Rotter, who sounds like a zombie's run in the family. Rikia Busujima, who looks like he's been here before and had a taste of the zombie flesh eating himself. And finally, Stick Breitling, a blonde super chunk. So unstick-like, I'm surprised he can aim a gun at all. His arms are so pumped. And a bad lot they are too. There are some wicked weapons out there to pick up, including flamethrowers and drills for some goo-gashing action. Unfortunately, you'll have to use while you can, as they don't carry from scene to scene. The attack system promises so much. Not only do they get mean with their handheld machines, but they can also pull off some super fly attack moves. You know when you're locked onto a target because a radar pops up around them. If you wait for this to turn red, your bullet or fist will pack more punch. You can also pull off a variety of physical moves according to your button combinations, including an impressive hold move, and once you've got the beastie by the scruff of his neck, you can proceed to kick the unliving ooze out of him. This is all well and good, but what really ripped my throat was that apart from the buttons being far from obvious, they were seemingly playing off a satellite. They were so slow to respond, almost a good second behind my button pushing. Now, this is fine if you're frantically button mashing in an arcade, but it's a totally different story when you're at home and you have time to relax into the game and learn your skill. Bizarrely, although there are 3 characters, you can only have a maximum of 2 players. Don't despair though, no one gets left behind. Choose single player and you'll still get the trio, even if it is a graphic glitch. If you've decided to go solo, you see, the cutscenes have you back as the threesome. Normally this wouldn't bother me, but on top of their crappy controls, it really got my goat. As the combination of a shoot-em-up and beat-em-up, or is it eat-em-up, this achieves neither. And it doesn't even qualify as an action-adventure because it's minus the adventure. As an arcade game, it will get your blood pumping faster, but as a takeaway, it can only disappoint. Zombie Revenge will be staggering out and about on June 23rd. Ugh, zombies allowing.
Good old Blighty. We try so hard but somehow insist on inventing sports that the whole world ends up beating our butts at. Cricket is no exception to this humiliation, but to add insult to injury, American-based sports giant EA have just unleashed this take on uniformed tighty-whities. Like all these limiting, gentle sports sims, developers try to convince the gaming public that it is in fact more like a full throttle ride down the Pepsi Max. Whoa, steady on, old boy. That googly you just bowled me really had me going. Not. Let's face it, that familiar crack of leather on willow is the stuff of summer and strawberries, of British tradition and ponces in Purcell fresh pads. Or so the stereotype remains.
But that is just sliding past leg stump.
What EA have attempted to do is to take cricket to the arcade in terms of the gameplay itself as well as the modes on offer. Based on the one-day matches as opposed to the 5-day matches, this is supposed to make cricket more instant. The game is pretty technical with a lot of detail in the way you can adjust your bowling and batting stylings. Although not as rewarding for the gamer as Codemasters Brian Lara Cricket, you can get the hang of this fairly readily and enjoy smacking the ball around the virtual pitch. Batting involves moving about in your crease, positioning the direction cone and pressing hit. The controls are all mouse-driven, which, though making for less boggy gameplay, just made me feel like I wasn't doing a lot. In fact, overall, this never felt like a sim. It's too simple. EA claim this game will appeal to all standards and hope to bring in some newbies with the scalable difficulty modes. Again, a bit of a failure. The training level had no commentary and no trainer.
Just a touch delay.
So, I was left to my own devices.
That's it.
The in-game commentary with the voices of Richie Benno and David Gower is lively, but oddly drowned by the far too excited for cricket crowd. I thought there must have been a streaker. I praise the game for its ambition. 12 opposition teams to play in a choice of 25 remodelled stadiums. The ability to captain your country and determine tactics, as well as keeping a close eye on the unfolding game through the unique ball tracking analysis engine. My dear fellow, the stats are in place, but the gameplay's gone off for an early tee. The learning curve didn't have me addicted and wanting more. I was stumped by this sports sim and wouldn't have even cared when rain stopped play. Cricket 2000 is out for your PC now.
Flying Heroes sounds like it should be World War I biplanes, handlebar mustaches, and chucks away, but it ain't. Apparently, Terry Gilliam and Leonardo da Vinci crash-landed on Quake 3 Arena to give us a massively multiplayer online massacre-heavy fragfest.
In a parallel fantasy universe, around the corner from where the trolls and goblins live, there's a place called Hesperia. It's where gladiators would hang out if they weren't appearing on TV, competing not for most original name or who can run up a moving ramp the fastest, but for who can control the skies with a variety of bizarre objects. The Sky Knights are bird wranglers, and they mount whippoorwills and falcons. The Lizard Riders are particular to dragons, dinos, and the odd Gia monster. The Hammercrafts dig wooden blimps and flying ships, and the Magian do it with magic kettles. Whatever floats your boat.
Steamy.
Now, it's been suggested that Flying Heroes is a flight sim with combat properties. If anything, it's capitalizing on the DM phenomenon. Not the shoes preferred by hard men and goths, but deathmatch sprees of mayhem and massacre. Do you see any flight controls? No. All you see is a big freaking weapon of destruction pointing at your best friend. Sim this.
If variety is the spice of life, Flying Heroes should be one tasty dish. But as far as deathmatch games go, tooling around in a magic carpet just doesn't have the same testosterone-y feel as running around in a Bruce Willis-style stained vest, blowing up your next-door neighbor with a variety of hand-based heavy artillery.
How about some cake?
No, thanks.
Flying Heroes is jam-packed. It's 30-odd hours of kicking ass with takes on about 100 different genres. There are the obvious favorites like Frag Time and Last Man Standing limits, but the fun doesn't end there. You'll also play career, tag team, and capture the flag modes. If we ask nicely, we may even get a lovely silver-plated 24-piece dining set free of charge.
Oh, yes.
And Prairie Biscuit.
No!
There are 24 weapon and ship upgrades for each of the 4 warring factions, from elf repellent to kamikaze firebombs. You'll traverse through 10 absolutely amazing arenas, from indoor stadiums to little floating islands to the volatile volcanic regions of Perm. And keep your eyes open for hidden passageways, which will lead to caverns aplenty.
It's a whole new world, a thrilling place to be. But don't get too sidetracked by the visuals, so you might get fragged on by an overhead birdie. Ugh.
Flying around in first person is a different kettle of lizards to running willy-nilly along corridors. Even in Quake 3, zero gravity control feels better. There are power-ups to be had and special maneuvers to come to terms with, but regardless of level difficulty, things feel awfully leisurely in Hesperia. When you get to the top, though, after hours of getting used to the controls and listening to more synth rock music than is psychologically sound, make sure to give what you got. Step on the little people and take advantage of the generosity of others. Use and abuse the offers of the non-playable characters and give them some good work experience for when they get to the dizzy heights of the Gold League.
Flying Heroes is Unreal Tournament as performed by Terry Gilliam on a bad hair day. Distinctly Baron Munchausen, but you have to remember that film never did too well at the box office despite its visual excesses. I fear for the fate of Flying Heroes, if only for its limp name. It's fragging your golden goose in all of its multiplayer glory right now. Cricket is hardly a fashionable sport. You don't get the gaggle of girls trailing after you like you do in Formula One, and you certainly can't lean back on Bandai Beach with a can and a tan and a cold one like you do in surfing.
If you need further proof, look at the famous coiffure of half the Australian team, and what about Ian Beefy Botham? Never has a more impressive mullet graced the hallowed turf of Lords. If you fancy catching a few less expertly styled mullets, log on to Mullets Galore at www.mulletsgalore.com.
And remember what the Beastie Boys said, cut the sides and don't touch the back. Cut the sides and don't touch the back.
Not satisfied with tearing strips of flesh off the undead? Well, you might prefer to do it to the rich and famous, like the cast of Friends or Seinfeld.
With Mr. Showbiz, you can perform a bit of online plastic surgery, Mr. Potato Face styling, mixing and matching the face of Jack Nicholson with the nose of Kim Basinger and the mouth of Robin Williams with the hair of Helen Hunt.
Ay caramba! If you want to dabble in creating your own celebrity mutations, go to http://mrshowbiz.go.com/games/ER/index.html. So get slicing and dicing.
And this week, you can go away with a square-mile plot of land.
What?
On Mars.
Ooh.
Courtesy of those generous bards at Martian Gothic Unification.
All you have to do is answer this simple question. Describe and design for us the squarest, dullest, biggest yawn of a game character you can.
Send us an email to bitsforlater@aol.com.
And if you think we've covered just about all the games this week, then you're in for a big surprise.
Tune in to Bits T4 on Sunday morning, or you could surf over to our website at www.forlater.com/bits.
Next week, more bits at the later time of 1:40.
Beware, coward.